Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. It is November 4th, 2019. Happy Monday to everyone. So, there was quite a response with regards to the video that I put up on Friday with regards to the man that was found in criminal contempt of court and sentenced to jail for 60 days due to his disruptive actions within court. This was Michael Palladino. Michael Palladino, of course, was representing himself pro se. He was standing trial on some minimal charges. His charges were obstructing justice, resisting arrest, and a traffic offense. These were not huge charges. This was something that occurred in August of 2018, and it was held off until just this last month. Palladino was arguing that the court had lack of jurisdiction in his case and continued to be very disruptive at his jury trial. And as a result of that, the judge ordered him to 60 days sentenced of jail time in contempt of court. Now, I found this as a secondary article, we'll say, on WRMJ.com, which I will pin to the top of the comments section so you guys can read it for those of you, and there's been many views on that video, for those of you that would like to take a look at some more information with regards to this. But this got me thinking, with the amount of emails and comments and views that were on this video, I actually wanted to take a look and see if the courts have changed in the manner that they are dealing with people who follow the SC ideology. And to my surprise and appreciation of how it's being dealt with, it actually appears that they are. Over the last couple of years, I was able to find many on Google Scholar, along with many news articles backing all of that up, that judges have hit their limit and they are using criminal contempt charges or contempt charges in order to stop the madness in the court systems. Now, why is this important? For those of us that follow the SC ideology and the Moorish SC ideology rather, where they believe that they can argue jurisdiction that is not legitimate, where they believe that they can make claims that they are immune to laws, so on and so forth. We would find this important, of course, because it is something that is cracking down on movements that are doing damage to our communities. But there's more to it than that. It's also important because the amount of court time that is being spent on these frivolous motions that are being filed or arguments within jury trials that are happening with these individuals is wasting a lot of taxpayer money. They appear to think that they are damaging the courts and the government somehow, but in reality, it's damaging the taxpayers. It's damaging you and I. So this is why it's important, and it's something that I think would be good for you guys to know, that there are changes that are actually being made in the system. Let's take a look at a few of those cases. And once again, in the comment section, pinned to the top, you're going to find all of these links that you can research. And some of these are people we on the Virgo Triad channel have never actually gone over, but a couple of them are ones that I remember seeing on the Van Balen channel with their traffic stops. So some of these you might want to actually take a look at. Let's go. I do not understand the title of this one, but it's an important one because it was fairly recent. The title of this is Sweet Home Woman Claims SC Status in Benton County Court. I don't know what Sweet Home Woman means. I wish I could tell you. But this took place December 29th of 2018, so once again within the year. Her name is Alana Parton. The Sweet Home woman arrested in downtown Corvallis in November after she allegedly reached for a handgun during a traffic stop. She mounted a SC defense, a legal tactic that denies the validity of the U.S. judicial system, of course. Parton, who's 38 years old, was in Benton County Circuit Court the morning of her trial for a status check in her case. She was charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm, interfering with a police officer, and failure to carry or present a driver's license. Of course, we know the firearms charge carries a potential 5-year sentence. The rest of it was a fairly simple traffic violation, and where she refused to provide driver's license information to the police officer that actually stopped her. It says that when she was called to the bench to speak to the judge, she approached the low wooden bar that separates the gallery from the attorney's table and the judge bench, but refused to cross it. Instead, she demanded that Williams, who was the judge, produce documents establishing his authority, claiming, of course, all rights reserved. Of course, right? Because nobody really understands what the meaning of that is in that movement, apparently. But regardless, once again, using this SC ideology as a tactic to attempt to try to get out of this and to make claims that there's some delegation of authority that's a piece of paper that can be shown by a judge or a police officer, which is total BS. So anyhow, here's another one, of course, where they used contempt of court in order to actually stop the madness, to stop the actual claims that were being made that made absolutely no sense. And when you are ordered to do something in court, if there is a refusal, that is also considered contempt. All right, moving on to the next one. So this one's SC avoids paying taxes and ends up in contempt. This was a tax protester. He's held in federal prison for contempt of court more than a year after he refused to respond to an IRS summons. The Dallas News is reporting. He's a 55-year-old truck driver. He was married to somebody who was rather wealthy, apparently. He owes the IRS more than $174,000 for not paying taxes from 2005 through 2007, and then again through 2013. Now, this is a civil contempt. There's generally an 18-month limit on how long someone can be jailed for civil contempt. This guy's had already been in there at this point, which was done January 10th, 2019 was when this article was done. He'd already been in there for a year. So they were looking at the possibility of being able to lengthen that 18-month stay because the prosecutor is saying, hey, we were not even looking for a criminal charge against this guy. We just wanted him to agree to provide us with his financials so that we could continue on with our audit through the IRS. Of course, nobody wants to pay taxes, but they are legally something that can be placed on a citizen, and he is a citizen. And as a result, he is responsible for paying his fair share of taxes based on his income bracket. This is something where his arguments were completely based in the SC ideology, and that is what he was using in order to attempt to try to get himself out of trouble. And he continues now to sit in jail. According to this anyway, we don't know at this point. I have not been able to locate whether or not he has gotten out or has continued on with the trial, but the judge was not having it. The judge said, no, you're either going to comply with what I have asked you to do, which is I've given you a court order that says you must provide your financials to the IRS. He refuses to provide them with anything, and as a result, continues to sit in jail as of this time period. So, once again, we're seeing the courts use contempt charges, whether it be civil or criminal. Most of the time it's criminal. This one just happens to be civil because they weren't looking at criminal charges. They just wanted an order demanding to see his financials. So, again, we're seeing a difference. We're seeing a change, a shakeup in the court system where they are finding ways to stop these groups from wasting so much of the court's time, wasting so much of the taxpayers' money, and wasting just consistent paperwork. I mean, filing these motions, for example, uh, that's wasting the clerk's time, the court's time. Every motion has to be answered by a judge. So this is something that, is a problem. And I'm glad to see that we are seeing ways that the judges and the courts are dealing with it. Okay, again, this is from January 16th, 2019. Contempt hearing set for new Underwood man who rejects court's jurisdiction over him. So this is a man that can't get past his own arraignment. Hilariously, this man has attempted to try to go to an arraignment hearing, 4 different times, where he continues to argue with the judge. His name is James Kopecki. He does not want to cooperate in any way, shape, or form with the judge to even get through his actual arraignment. So at this point, the 16th of January, 2019, he was on his 4th his 4th arraignment hearing. And because he continued to argue jurisdiction without even filing a motion, this guy just wants to walk in and start arguing with the judge who's proceeding over the arraignment hearing about jurisdiction, which is not the time. You go into an arraignment to actually find out what the charges are against you, and you go in to plead one way or the other. That's all there is to it. He can't even get through his actual arraignments. So this is really an interesting one. If you guys want to take a look at it again, it'll be pinned to the top of the comment section for you. And of course, this man has now received a contempt charge for continuing to disrupt the court over and over again and not even being able to get past his actual arraignment hearings. Unbelievable. Okay, so here is a self-proclaimed S.C. Moore who gets 170 days for contempt in Marion County Court. The state of Missouri is seeking a governor's warrant for the extradition of this 32-year-old Centralia. Excuse me. I'm sorry, you guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. Centralia, I believe, is what the name of it is. Man being held in the Marion County Jail on contempt of court and for failure to appear on a 2014 case that was accusing him of squatting in a vacant home. All right, so Larry T. Evans, who is also known as M. Fallum L. Bay, was arrested by Centralia Police on an outstanding Marion County warrant, as well as on an outstanding St. Louis, Missouri warrant for alleged forgery. Missouri was seeking extradition on Evans, but on Monday he refused extradition in Marion County Court. Evans reportedly became disruptive in court, which resulted in a 170-day sentence for contempt of court. That sentence will have to be served to a 90 sentence he was given when he was disruptive in court Friday. Wow. Okay, so this is twice now he's gotten contempt, 170-day and a 90-day. Court records show Evans entered the courtroom Friday cursing and at one point admonished Judge Stedlin to not speak while he was speaking. Wow. The 170-day sentence will have to be served consecutively to the previous 90-day sentence and will come at the end of any prison sentence, if any, is handed down in the Missouri forgery case. Day for day does not apply on the contempt sentence, and Evans will not receive credit for time served. The court has scheduled Evans for September 9th final pretrial and September 17th jury trial in the 2014 Marion County case, charging him with felony criminal damage to property and felony theft. Evans has claimed he is an SC and is not bound by U.S. laws. He claims he is a descendant of Moorish royalty and that the Tonti Road property was illegally taken from his SC group that first discovered North America. Sound familiar to you guys? So This is something that just popped up. I wasn't actually able to find a date on it, but it is something that when I searched for before, never have seen. So I don't know. I know that one of these charges is from 2014. There are other charges on here that are much more, well, within the last 2 years. So again, we are seeing courts deal with these things differently than we have before. They are using heavy-handedly, it looks like, contempt of court charges, both criminal and civil, to try to stop a lot of these frivolous arguments and frivolous motions from taking place. All right, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful day. I just wanted to give you this news because I find this to be progress. And I think it's something that everybody needs to know for the purpose of understanding how the courts are dealing with these frivolous arguments that are taking place due to these conspiracies that are spreading across social media all the time. Everybody take care and have a wonderful day.